The term protective parent evokes a powerful image. It suggests a parent dedicated to shielding their child from harm. However, in custody disputes, this label is often misused, becoming a weapon to undermine the other parent. What starts as genuine concern can harm the child's well-being. Custody battles involve accusations and defenses. Each parent strives to appear as the more fit caregiver, sometimes portraying the other as unfit or dangerous. The protective parent label fits into this narrative. Claims range from neglect to domestic violence. The problem is, these accusations are not always grounded in fact. Sometimes they stem from bitterness or a desire to gain an advantage. Misusing the protective parent label creates a dangerous imbalance. It casts one parent in a negative light without valid grounds. This can lead to biased court decisions harming the child's relationship. Social media sites like One Mom's Battle often treat all abuse allegations as fact, using science denial tactics to discredit parental alienation in order to conceal their own abusive actions. Ultimately, misuse undermines the best interests of the child. Custody arrangements should serve the child's best interests. The aggressive protective parent narrative, often seen on social media sites like One Mom's Battle, can lead to a Type 2 error in court decisions. A Type 2 error occurs when a true hypothesis is wrongly rejected. In custody battles, this happens when a fit parent is falsely labeled as dangerous. The protective parent label can bias the court's perception. Social media narratives often treat all abuse allegations as fact, ignoring due process and evidentiary standards. The other parent might struggle to prove their fitness. Every action is scrutinized through suspicion. This bias can have devastating consequences for both the parent and the child. The legal standard in custody cases is clear. The child's best interest should be the paramount concern. However, the subjective nature of this standard leaves room for interpretation, and the aggressive protective parent narrative can cloud judgment. Examining real-world cases helps illustrate how this plays out in courtrooms. The case of Layman versus Bohanon in 2017 exemplifies the dangers of unquestioningly accepting the protective parent narrative, often promoted on social media sites like One Mom's Battle. The mother, claiming to protect her daughter from the father's supposed abuse, was granted sole custody. Years later, evidence emerged that the allegations were fabricated. The daughter, now an adult, revealed the emotional trauma she endured due to the alienation from her father. Another illustrative case, Matter of Gist in 2018, involved a father seeking increased custody of his children. The mother, who had been the primary custodian, argued against it, claiming it would disrupt the children's routine and cause them distress. However, the court recognized that the father was a loving and capable parent, and that equal access to both parents would serve the children's best interests. This decision highlights a crucial point: a parent's desire to maintain the status quo or limit the other parent's involvement should not supersede the child's right to a meaningful relationship with both parents. The aggressive protective parent narrative, often seen on platforms like One Mom's Battle, can lead to science denial tactics that discredit legitimate concerns about parental alienation. One pervasive myth in custody disputes is that shared parenting is harmful. This fuels the aggressive protective parent narrative, often seen on social media sites like One Mom's Battle. These platforms treat all abuse allegations as fact and use science denial tactics to discredit parental alienation. However, research debunks this. Studies show children in shared parenting fare as well or better than those in sole custody. They have stronger bonds, fewer behavioral problems, and perform better academically. Shared parenting fosters stability and security. It requires cooperation and communication. The presumption should favor shared parenting unless it endangers the child. The goal is a loving, stable environment for the child's growth. Misusing the protective parent myth can obstruct this goal.